Well, Jeff, I'm not sure if you know much about seances. Unfortunately, I'm completely naive when it comes to that topic, but fortunately, I'm joined by a couple of ladies who hopefully will be able to enlighten me. Directly to my right is Connie Adams. You are a psychic. You and I have crossed paths before. You are located out of Merrickville.
That's correct.
Lucky lady.
I love Merrickville.
Gorgeous
what
village.
a beautiful place to work out of.
And directly to her right is Marcel Kimberly. You're the cultural planner for the city of Ottawa. Now, being Friday the 13th, it only makes sense that we would that you would host a séance. Tell me all about this evening's event.
Well, how exciting is that? We don't often get the opportunity to go out and to experience something like this. So we had an event that was very similar during the Halloween period, and it was hugely successful. So we thought, you know, why not throw it on the most superstitious day of the year,
of course,
on Friday the 13th. And so that's what we're doing tonight at 8 p.m. Connie will be there, and she'll be joined by some museum staff, as well as a number of attendants, and we'll be hosting a séance at the estate.
And it'll be in the ballroom of the museum.
That's right.
Right?
That's yeah.
Okay, so now before I talk to you, Connie.
Room.
Exactly, yes, I can
creepy.
imagine. There's a few of those in Merrickville. I was in the hotel as well, in the ballroom upstairs there. There's a few good places that I'm sure they've had you in. Now, can I ask you, Marcel, a little bit about the popularity of spiritualism in the Victorian era, which I think is ultimately where it all originated from, right?
Well, that's what we're going to be focusing on a little bit more tonight, is sort of the popularity around spiritualism and seances during that time period, and how, you know, people at that time were really looking, there was a huge shift, and they were looking at that type of medium to sort of get the answers to some of their, you know, life's bigger questions.
If only there were answers out there, right? And Connie, would you say that, yes, would you say, I mean, what is involved in a seance?
Well, first off, seances and understanding what a seance is, it's a sitting with the dead. That's what you're basically doing. As we know in French, it means a sitting. So, we're going to sit with the dead. Now, as a psychic, because I am a professional psychic and I do readings all day, and so a seance and psychic readings are two different things. So doing the psychic readings or making predictions of past, present, future, that sort of thing. But with a seance, it's strictly about talking to people that have passed over. Okay. So I have very unique abilities to be able to communicate with people. So sometimes I'll feel, sense, touch, smell, taste. We've had some really interesting things happen at some of our seances, where people have maybe had a phantom smell come into the room, where they could smell ammonia, where half the table could smell it, the other half couldn't. Sometimes you get little knocking sounds on the table, or lights can flicker. Now, sometimes we've got to put a little skepticism and say, well, was it the electricity that was doing it, or was it a spirit? But quite often, people will feel something, or they might see something.
What does that feel like?
What's it feel like?
Yeah.
Well, how do you mean? Like, within the whole thing about seances is, you know, it really should be a provable experience. You know, a lot of us have an Uncle Bob, a lot of us had grandfathers that fought in the war, so we really get into a lot more detail. So I'll maybe talk about a scar that somebody has in their family, or on a cheek that isn't visible,
something
that isn't
a bit more
there,
specific.
and very, very specific. And they'll say, and they might say, oh, it's up here, and I'm saying, no, it's down here, or how they lost their leg or finger, or different accidents. So I'm a believer of it should be proven. There's lots of great, talented psychics out there, but I so believe that it should be proven with 4 or 5 things you couldn't guess at. As I was saying, we often can find a lot of commonality. But we were talking earlier about people are very, sometimes a little afraid to come to a psychic, afraid about the future.
Of course.
But at seance, we don't discuss the future.
Right.
The only thing I may discuss is I'll maybe say, well, go ask your mother, and this is where your mother looks like in her kitchen, and blah, blah, and this will be her exact response.
So your
and
job
I can
is
imitate people, too, dead and alive. So I just generally always stick with the dead at a seance. Okay. It's a whole lot of fun.
So a reminder that the seance will be taking place this evening. What time again,
At 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m. and the address?
It's at 2100 Cabot Street, and people can register. There are still spots available, 613-247-4830.
Perfect.
And we're hoping to have a great turnout.
Yes,
you should come, Sarah. You should come.
I'm a little freaked out. I'm a little freaked out, but you know what? Maybe I should give it a try. No, not you. It's just the whole spirit.
I was too, but Connie's put my mind at ease.